Hi, my name's Alistair. One really important issue for young people is mental health. And given Sir Keir Starmer's recent pledge on increasing provision for mental health support, how important do you view it as an issue, and what would you like to see done by the government?
Well, it's an area actually where there is a great deal of cross-party agreement that I think everyone recognises the need for additional mental health support. The funding being provided for it is increasing rapidly, and I think that's important. But also, the government has promised a renewal of the Mental Health Act, and that will be coming forward fairly shortly, I mean within the next year. But it's important that it is something done on a cross-party basis. I don't see there's a lot of party politics in mental health, but I think there is a recognition that it is a serious problem, particularly young people's. I think every constituency MP sees this problem in his or her postbag. I certainly do, with young people with eating disorders having to wait 2 or 3 months to get an appointment to receive any treatment. And this is really worrying because early intervention does seem to be very helpful. So the increase in funding is going to be important.
My name's Sophie. A significant majority of UK Prime Ministers have been educated in elite private schools such as Eton and Harrow. How can this privileged club, of which you are a part, lead this country when they have no real understanding of how to make ends meet?
The leadership of this country is the people who are elected. And actually I think we should be very proud of our education system in this country, that we find a lot of people from overseas want to have their children educated in the UK because we provide a very high level of education. And the same is true of our world-beating universities. And this is something we should be proud of, not something we should denigrate. And I think the voters are entitled to elect whoever they want to elect. I mean, they could have voted for Jeremy Corbyn, and they decided instead to vote for Boris Johnson. That was a choice of the electorate. That's democracy in action. And I think the Prime Minister is very capable of empathising with people in different circumstances from his own. And I think empathy is a key part of the political skill that people have to have. But what I'd say to you is stand for Parliament then. You know, we were discussing this earlier. But if you think the leadership of this country is not what you want, it's up to you to do something about it.
Why don't more Prime Ministers come from state schools like St George's? Why are they drawn from a small proportion of private schools?
Well,
is it an issue of confidence? They feel nervous, but people, a private school, a good one, gives you confidence to push ahead and outstrip your peers? Or is it, what's happening? Why can't we get more Prime Ministers from state schools?
I think the education reforms of Michael Gove were extremely important in raising the standard of our state education in this country, and that has been a fundamental improvement and is part of what you are benefiting from. And I think this is going to be fundamental to the opportunities available in this country.
One more question.
Hi, I'm Dominic. My question is, climate change is a huge issue, but it's also a global issue. Apart from making speeches about Kermit the Frog, what is this government going to do to make sure that countries abroad cooperate on our vision of a carbon zero future?
I think it really is all about technology, because I think if you get the technology right, then other countries will want to adopt it because it will make them more efficient and more economically competitive. Other countries will look to the prosperity of their populations. They will want to see that they are well off, and you can't expect them to change until they can do so confident that people's living standards will improve, particularly if you're thinking of the less well-off countries in the world who aren't necessarily in the position to make sacrifices that richer countries may feel able to make. So I think technology is everything. And as I discussed with Christopher, it's thinking about hydrogen and fusion and trying to ensure that there are clean systems of fuel that allow people to lead the lives they want to in a greener way.
Well, the question is also about China. Why should China carry on polluting while we get cleaner here? Why should we load up people here with taxes to pay for that when China is making the world worse?
Because China will become cleaner if the technologies are there and are working and are actually more economically efficient. It's very interesting. Matthew Ridley's written about this, and he's extremely well informed and interesting on this subject, and has pointed out that as we have worked through our uses of energy, we have become cleaner anyway. So actually switching from wood to coal was better for the environment because you still had the trees which had all been cut down to provide the wood. Moving from coal to oil was again cleaner. Moving from oil to gas was cleaner. So again and again we have got cleaner as economies have developed. If the next stage of development is via renewables to hydrogen, or is nuclear fusion, which is a limitless source of fuel, I mean, I slightly worry that that is like the perpetual motion machine, something we're always searching for, or the philosopher's stone but never find. Nonetheless, the researchers do seem more optimistic than they have been in recent years. If you can get that going, then other countries will adopt it because it's so economically efficient.
Just finally, Jacob Rees-Mogg, a final question or final response here to these students who've come all this way to hear to you. What's your advice to them for the future?
Well, as you're clearly very interested in politics, I would encourage you, for whichever party you are most attracted by, to get involved. The country needs to be led by capable people and clever people, and you have been given the advantage of a first-class education. Please use it in the service of your country.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Rees-Mogg.